Okay, so I'm going to show you how I think I have fixed using Google Forms to scaffold the SAQ. So I'm going to maximize my screen here. I had previously said that I was going to use Wiser because you can lock it, unlock it, and they can't go back in and edit it, and it keeps their responses all in one place. So I essentially came to the conclusion that Wiser is really good for worksheets and things, but I don't think it's going to work out the way I intended with these SAQs. So basically, their SAQ, I am going to scaffold across 3 days. So day one, they'll see the prompt, they'll do the first sentence, which is their claim. Then day two, it's the same prompt, they'll do their specific historical evidence sentence, their second sentence. And then day three, they'll come in, same prompt, and they do their analysis and reasoning sentence and submit it. And then I go back in, give them feedback, not for a grade, and send it to them. I did this on paper last year. Obviously, we're kind of discouraged from doing that this year. So I've been trying to find different ways to do this. I think I have found a way using Google Forms that solves this. So basically, we have this bell ringer here, and I have this in one section, and I have it set to automatically collect email addresses. I highly recommend you set that on there, because this way they don't have to type in their email address. And I even find that when they are typing in email addresses right now, like to book tutoring for me, some of them mistype it. So they can even mistype their own email address. So this way, it's automatically pulling it and they don't have to worry about mistyping it. And so, with that being said, you really don't even have to put a field here for their name or class period unless you wanted to. It would just make it quicker if you could eliminate these two. I'm just going to leave it there for now. But then this next section is where they'll see the prompt, and that'll stay there across all 3 days. And you can also put this in locked mode as well, if you really wanted to. I don't know if I'm going to. But here's the first sentence. So I just put this in here one sentence at a time, not all three. So first sentence, and then of course I'll show you what it would look like on their end. So you would send this link to them. They'd open it up probably in Google Classroom or Canvas or whatever it is, Schoology that you're using. So they go in, they type their name, class period. Okay. Then they'd see the prompt, they'd respond. So this is the first sentence of the SAQ. Submit, done. Okay, so most likely they'd close the tab out. Then after the day's over, you know that everybody's gotten in their first sentence. I would suggest you go in here and you change this to second sentence. I give them a few little hints here on what to do. Tell them how to start the sentence. Excuse my dog in the background chewing on a toy. Okay, so then this gives it to them one sentence at a time. So same link. They'd open up the same link from yesterday. They'd pull it up. Let's even say that they mistype their name, because that never happens. Or they put in the wrong class period. Okay. This is the sentence of the SAQ. Okay, done. So then everyone gets their second sentence in. It's the end of the day. You go back in here. Third sentence. Connect your explain your reasoning. Or I let them use additionally. Okay. And then they'd come back in. I think I still have it copied, but they come back in on the third day. Again, this is okay. Done. All right. So here's the issue with doing this in Google Forms that I initially steered me away from it. So because they're doing these on 3 separate days, essentially, it's the same form, but you're going to have multiple entries for the same person. And I wanted all 3 sentences in one spot when I go to look at them. So that's the problem I have with Google Forms. But I think I have found an add-on that solves this. So basically, when all is said and done, you're going to have all of these responses, and these would be spread out amongst those 3 days. So, like me, for example, I think I have about 130 students. So, you could do this by class period, just create a different form for each class period, which might help it a little bit. But you're going to have all these responses down here. And I wasn't about to go through and pick out, okay, well, where's Rachel's first sentence? And then where's Rachel's second sentence? And then where's Rachel's third sentence? And then put them all together. Like, I'm not going to do that for 130 students. So I found this add-on, and I have to sign into my personal account because my district has it blocked on my work account, trying to get that fixed, but right now I have to just use my personal account. So to show you guys this add-on. Okay, so we have these 3 separate responses for now. Ultimately, when all is said and done, you'd probably have, for me, so if each student was doing 3 separate responses, and I have about 130 students, ultimately on one SAQ, you're going to have a total of 390 responses. So we need something that can do this sorting for us and make our lives easier. So we're going to click add-ons, rowCall. That's what it's called, rowCall. Okay, so select column to use. This is where I would highly recommend that you use the email address column because that was automatically pulled. They didn't type that in. They can't mistype it. There are no typos. This way, if they happen to mistype their own name, then it's still pulling from their email address, which is what I would highly recommend. So I'm going to hit sort update. And of course, with 300 something responses, it's usually going to take much longer. And what it's doing is it's creating tabs down here for each individual email address. So this now has, let me get rid of that. Here's the original form response that's connected to the Google form. I'll close that. This is what that add-on just generated, was it would ultimately have separate tabs down here for all your different students. So for me, if I didn't want 130 tabs down here, then yeah, I would probably just create a separate form for each of my class periods. That would probably make a little more sense. So I'll probably do it that way. So you click on here, and then all 3 sentences would be right here. And the only reason why it says third sentence right here is because that's just what was in the Google form last, which is right here. So to me, that doesn't really matter. What I would need is to see their first sentence, their second sentence, and their third sentence all in one place. So now, feedback. So giving the feedback back to the students is really easy. I thought about recording it, like I'm kind of doing this right now, but that would actually involve more steps than I would like. What you can do in Google Sheets and really any Google platform is you go to, so I'd read their sentences and let's just say, this was too vague. Okay, so you go to insert, comment, at, And there's me right there. Okay, the assigned person will be notified and responsible for marking as done. Okay, assigned. Okay, so you could put comments in here for each of their SAQs. So, and of course, it put it right here. But everything is in one spot right here in these all three sentences. And hopefully that would be a quick and easy way to scaffold the SAQ. It would be strictly digital, no handling papers, and it's Google Forms, which most students and teachers are familiar with. So, hope that helps.